Those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Blair. I'm the CEO of the company. My job is to really be behind the scenes. For the past year, I've been working on our international initiatives. I've been working on improving the quality of our operations, from shipping to logistics. We've hired about 400 people in the past 12 months. We just launched a 65,000 square foot construction project in Troy, Michigan, which is just outside of Detroit. For those of you not familiar with it, we are done with the first half of that project, and I can't wait to do our grand opening there next year when the second half is complete, and really show you guys a masterpiece which is really built for your business. What else have we done? We staffed up. We opened up a 15,000 square foot facility in California where we house our creative, our web, our international group. I'm missing a few things. Oh, we doubled the company first 6 months of this year. We did 300 plus million in the first 6 months of this year. Last year, for those of you familiar, we did 230 million. So we've had a pretty aggressive agenda, and then we decided, hey, why don't we go public? And we decided that around the April time frame, and so the team has really been ramping up working on that. And just the other day, I got to tell you, I made one of the proudest decisions I've ever made that I could ever imagine. I was sitting there. For those of you familiar with what it means to go public, it means you're going to sell your stock to the public marketplace, meaning you're going to go on. We were preparing to go on the NASDAQ, and we had all these investment bankers and attorneys and all that stuff lined up. And I'm literally, just so you guys get some insight, in 1996 I started my career, and that was just when the internet bubble had really started, right? Netscape's IPO, all the various IPOs. You guys remember, any of you remember when the internet bubble or internet started really picking up, and these guys were making billions of dollars and young people were making all kinds of money? Remember when that happened, 1996 through 1999 time frame? Well, it just so happened that's when I started my career. So my whole career, my dream was to take a company public. And so I was right there on the finish line of that dream, 16 years in the making. 16 years in the making. It would have been hundreds of millions of dollars. It would have made a lot of people rich, including my co-founders and myself and some of the shareholders. And I just said, you know what? This doesn't feel right. 16 years, to give you guys some perspective. Imagine working 16 years, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. All you've ever dreamed about wasn't necessarily the money and the gain of doing that type of thing, but you dreamed about it. And as a CEO, my job was to put aside all of the emotions and the subjectiveness and say objectively, is this what's right for Visalis? See, we're a company that's built upon values. We've built a disruptive business model. One that is literally taking over in the US and Canada. We have better economics, we have a more profitable business, we have better productivity per promoter, we have a better product, we are the #1 fastest growing company in our entire industry. And the folks on Wall Street said, but you've yet to go international. And I said to them, look at Canada. We did 90 million in sales in the first 6 months. In Canada. For those of you not familiar with the Canadian marketplace, all of our competition, the direct selling space, has left Canada. They've relegated it, they've reduced their operations, and my opinion was, if we could do 90 million in the first half in Canada after only being there for 2 years, the official launch 1 year, imagine how many other Canadas there are across the globe that we could build our business into, right? There's a lot of other Canadas. In fact, 80% of direct selling, 80% of the entire marketplace happens outside of the US and Canada. Now I'm filled with facts because I've just been spending a whole lot of time preparing for an IPO, and I'll tell you there's 1.4 billion people on the planet that are considered overweight, 500 million of which are considered obese. A lot of times people in this industry, and I know you guys hear this, they say, oh, well, Visalis has already captured the market. Right now, more people deem themselves, whether it be through a doctor saying, hey, you're overweight, or they look themselves in the mirror and say, I'm not fitting in the pants like I used to. More people are clinically obese or overweight every single day than we possibly even serve through the Body by Body 90-Day Challenge. And I mean that in the US and Canada. So the opportunity here is very significant, and it's much greater than the one that we have today. We have roughly 1.2 million customers, about 114,000 promoters across the US and Canada. How many people do you think need part-time or sometime or even full-time income right now in the US and Canada? Do you think it's more than 114,000 people?
Yes.
By all estimates that I've heard, I'm sure we hear about this in the election coming up here. I'm sure many of you have been paying attention. Right now, with the out-of-work situation, the unemployment situation, right, there are millions of people that are looking for an opportunity. And there are millions of people that are looking to change their health for the better, lose some weight, get themselves in shape, right? There's literally a marketplace far greater than the one that we've even touched. And so I'm sitting there and I'm telling Wall Street and all them who are trying to compare us, I won't name names, but to some other competition that's public. And you know me, I'm a very competitive person, right? And they're saying, well, these companies are already international. And I said, well, then I'll just go international and I'll come back to you guys once we're there. So in essence, that was a decision process. I said, there is no way that we will sell a single share of this company at less than what we're worth, ever, no matter what, because this company will never sell out. And one day they'll if they ever do a movie about the story that's myself, it'll be an interesting scene because I'm in the conference room, and just imagine a conference table twice the size of this stage with hundreds of suits all around, and I just said, I'm out. I'm not in. Seriously. And here's why. Here's why. And there's a lot of news media reaching out. I've been taking any interviews. You guys heard it first. Because going public is about the money. And Visalis is not about money. We don't need money. The reason why we have such a successful business that is so profitable, that is so meaningful to our partners at Blythe, the reason why is because myself, Nick, and Blake never cared about the money whatsoever. We founded this company in 2005. In 2008, when the recession hit, we went all in, invested our every last dollar to launch the Body by Body 90-Day Challenge. And then in January 2010, Nick went into the field, many of you know, to really test the business model, to develop the training model, develop the system hand in hand with many leaders in this room here that you guys are operating on right now as we speak, and to prove that we had a different way of doing business. And we proved that. You see Kyle Passetti and Rachel and a number of the 5 stars in here, and they have proved that they can duplicate prosperity and teach an everyday average person how to make part-time, sometime wages and get themselves to a level of success, whether that be measured by $100 a month, or $1,000 a month, or $10,000 a month, or $100,000 a month. We have this system, and we prove that on a daily basis in this business, and no other company has a system like that. And so that's why, I guess the best analogy to give you is, it was wedding day, the invitations have been sent out, and I got cold feet. And it really was a decision based on values. I looked at our values. I looked at the way we built this business. I looked at everything that we've done, and I said, there is no way we're going to compromise even a little bit. And, that's not something Wall Street's used to hearing, particularly not in our industry. So that said, whether or not we ever decide that we'll go back to the public market to test them out again, you can rest assured that we will never do a single thing that jeopardizes your opportunity, and we will never sell out no matter how much money or how big of a check.